What just landed at Subi Bay has sent shockwaves through Manila and Beijing alike. Early Thursday morning, as dawn broke over the former American naval base, the unmistakable thunder of jet engines shattered the tropical silence. Residents of nearby communities rushed outside, phones in hand, capturing footage that would soon ignite fierce debate across Southeast Asia. The sight greeting them was unprecedented in recent Philippine military history. A squadron of F-16 fighting Falcons, their sleek silhouettes cutting through the morning haze as they descended onto the runway at Subic Bay Air Base. Within hours, social media exploded with speculation, concern, and national pride as Filipinos grappled with a singular question that no one in government seemed prepared to answer directly. Why now? And what does this mean for our future? The arrival wasn't announced with fanfare or advance warning to the public, yet its implications reverberate far beyond Philippine shores. Military analysts across the region scramble to assess what this deployment signals about evolving defense partnerships in the Indo-Pacific. Chinese state media responded within hours, publishing thinly veiled warnings about external forces destabilizing the region. Meanwhile, ordinary Filipinos found themselves caught between excitement at their nation's strengthening military capabilities and anxiety about what such developments might provoke. The timing couldn't be more charged. Tensions in the South China Sea have reached a boiling point, with increasingly aggressive confrontations between Philippine and Chinese vessels becoming almost routine. Filipino fishermen report being harassed and driven from traditional fishing grounds. Coast Guard ships face water cannon attacks. And now, as if scripted for maximum dramatic impact, these American-made supersonic fighters have arrived at one of the most strategically significant locations in the entire Pacific theater. But here's what nobody's talking about, and what makes this story far more explosive than the official press releases suggest. Sources within the armed forces of the Philippines, speaking on condition of anonymity because they weren't authorized to discuss operational details, revealed that the joint training exercises beginning this week involve combat scenarios that are far more aggressive and realistic than anything the Philippine Air Force has participated in before. These aren't ceremonial flyovers or basic formation drills. According to multiple reports filtering through military channels, the F-16 pilots and their Philippine counterparts will be conducting simulated air superiority missions, ground attack runs, and maritime strike operations that mirror exactly the kind of scenarios that would unfold in a regional conflict. One retired Philippine Air Force general, speaking to reporters on background, put it bluntly, "This is preparation for war, not peacekeeping." Make no mistake about what's happening here. The scene at Subic Bay Air Base has transformed dramatically over the past 72 hours. What was recently a quiet facility primarily handling civilian aviation and limited military operations has become a hive of intense activity. Ground crews work around the clock preparing aircraft, running diagnostics, and loading practice munitions. The distinctive smell of jet fuel now permeates the surrounding area. Security has been dramatically enhanced, with armed personnel stationed at every access point and aerial drones conducting surveillance sweeps of the perimeter. Local businesses report unprecedented numbers of American military personnel in civilian clothing patronizing restaurants and shops in nearby Olongapo City, though most decline to discuss their presence or mission. The F-16 Fighting Falcon represents a quantum leap in capability for the Philippines, a nation whose air force has struggled for decades with aging equipment and chronic underfunding. These multi-role fighters, capable of speeds exceeding Mach 2, can carry an arsenal of precision-guided munitions, air-to-air missiles, and advanced electronic warfare systems. Each aircraft is worth approximately $60 million, representing technology that the Philippine military has historically only dreamed of operating. The fact that American forces have brought these platforms to Philippine soil for extended joint training exercises represents either a dramatic vote of confidence in the Philippines as a strategic partner or a calculated geopolitical chess move designed to send unmistakable signals to Beijing, or quite possibly both. Philippine Air Force pilots selected for this training opportunity underwent months of preparation, including English language proficiency testing advanced flight instruction, and security clearances. Those chosen represent the absolute elite of Philippine military aviation. The opportunity to fly alongside and learn from experienced F-16 pilots offers knowledge transfer that cannot be replicated through textbooks or simulation alone. These Filipino aviators will return to their units with insights into tactics, procedures, and combat philosophy that could reshape the entire Philippine Air Force's operational doctrine. The question many are asking is whether this training represents preparation for the Philippines to eventually acquire F-16s of their own, a prospect that would fundamentally alter the military balance in the region. The historical significance of American military aircraft returning to Subi Bay cannot be overstated. From 1901 until 1992, Subi Bay Naval Base served as the largest American overseas naval installation, a strategic anchor point for American power projection throughout Asia. The base played crucial roles in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. Its closure following the Philippine Senate's decision not to renew the base's agreement marked the end of an era and symbolized Philippines' sovereignty and independence from American military presence. For nearly 3 decades, Subi Bay existed as a civilian economic zone, its military infrastructure gradually deteriorating. The return of American military aircraft to these runways, therefore, carries profound symbolic weight, reopening questions about Philippine sovereignty, national defense strategy, and the nature of the U.S.-Philippine alliance. Critics have been quick to voice concerns about what they perceive as creeping recolonization. Progressive political groups in Manila organized protests within days of the F-16's arrival, carrying signs reading, "Our bases are not your bases," and "Philippine sovereignty not for sale." Leftist lawmakers have demanded congressional hearings to examine whether proper constitutional procedures were followed in authorizing foreign military operations on Philippine soil. They point to provisions in the Philippine Constitution that restrict foreign military presence except under specific treaty obligations and legislative oversight. The Duterte administration's Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement with the United States, which allows American forces expanded access to Philippine military facilities, remains controversial among nationalist politicians who view it as surrendering sovereignty to Manila's former colonial master. Yet public opinion polling suggests that a majority of Filipinos support strengthened military cooperation with the United States, particularly in light of China's increasingly assertive behavior in Disputé Maritime Territoire. The Philippines' claim to significant portions of the South China Sea is backed by international law, including a landmark 2016 arbitration tribunal ruling that rejected China's expansive claims. Beijing, however, has simply ignored this ruling, continuing to build artificial islands, install military facilities, and aggressively patrol waters that the international community recognizes as falling within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Filipino fishermen describe a climate of fear and intimidation, with Chinese Coast Guard vessels and maritime militia ships harassing, ramming, and sometimes detaining Philippine boats. Against this backdrop, many Filipinos see the F-16s at Subi Bay not as a threat to sovereignty, but as necessary insurance against a much larger threat. The training regimen that began this week is extraordinarily intensive. Flight operations commence before sunrise and continue well